Fear number 4, the body turning against you. When illness felt like betrayal. There is a special kind of fear that begins when the enemy is no longer outside you. When it's not the air, not the night, not the sky, but your own body. If you're healthy, your body works. If you're sick, something has gone wrong inside. That belief feels modern, but it isn't, it's ancient. Before microbes, disease wasn't something that entered the body. It was something the body did. A fever wasn't a defense, it was excess heat. Swelling wasn't inflammation, it was surplus fluid. Pain wasn't a signal, it was imbalance. If the body malfunctioned, it had to be corrected. Medicine revolved around 4 substances: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, black bile. Health meant balance. Disease meant excess. Too much heat, too much moisture, too much fluid. And if something was excessive, it had to be removed. So doctors intervened. They opened veins, they drained blood, they induced vomiting, they forced purging. Not out of cruelty, out of logic. If fever meant heat, bloodletting cooled the body. If swelling meant fluid, drainage reduced pressure. Patients often felt better temporarily. If a treatment made you feel relief, would you question it? The humors explained everything: mood, personality, illness. A unified medicine and behavior. Anger, excess bile. Sadness, black bile. Lethargy, phlegm. The body didn't just house illness, it generated it. So the body had to be controlled. Bloodletting lowered blood pressure. Purging reduced abdominal pressure. Fasting eased digestion. Symptoms improved, doctors felt validated, the theory survived. But improvement isn't cure, the body wasn't betraying itself. It was responding. Fever kills pathogens, inflammation isolates damage, pain signals threat. These weren't malfunctions, they were defenses. Removing them weakened patients, sometimes fatally. This fear wasn't ignorance, it was misinterpretation. The body spoke, we misunderstood the language. Healing didn't mean suppression, it meant support. But that idea required a new lens. Even now, we struggle with this fear. We suppress symptoms, silence signals, treat discomfort as failure. Because it's unsettling to accept that pain can be protective. But if illness wasn't punishment and it wasn't imbalance, then something else had to explain why sickness spread. Something unseen, and when danger can't be seen, fear multiplies. Fear number 5, touching the dead spread evil. When contact became the threat. First, the air was dangerous, the night, then the sky, and even the body itself. But eventually, fear narrowed its focus from places to conditions to people. If sickness spreads, something must be carrying it, and if people fall ill after touching the dead, then death itself must be contagious. Long before germ theory, death was treated like a substance, something that lingered, something that soaked into skin, something that could transfer. Bodies decayed, fluids leaked, smells intensified, and shortly after funerals, others often fell sick. The conclusion felt obvious. Death wasn't seen as an endpoint. It was a condition. A corrupted state of matter, and touching it felt dangerous. People who prepared bodies died more often. Those who washed the dead fell ill. Gravediggers didn't live long lives. No one saw bacteria, but everyone saw the pattern. So rules emerged. The dead were isolated, the sick were separated. Physical contact became suspicious. Funeral rituals changed, burials happened faster, touch was limited or forbidden. Entire professions were marked. Those who handled the dead were feared while alive. If everyone who touched the dead seemed to die sooner, would you reach out? Plagues made this belief stronger. Bodies piled up, the sick followed the dead, and proximity looked lethal. Communities that avoided contact sometimes survived longer. The rule felt confirmed. Touch kills. The danger wasn't death, it was biology. Pathogens thrived in bodily fluids, they survived on skin, they transferred through contact. The dead weren't evil, they were infectious. This fear wasn't superstition, it was early epidemiology. An attempt to control spread without understanding mechanisms. Avoiding contact worked, isolation helped, separation saved lives. The logic was right. The explanation was wrong. Even now, we instinctively pull back from bodies. We glove up, we sanitize, we isolate. Not because the dead are evil, but because contact carries risk. But once touch became dangerous, suspicion didn't stop at the dead. It spread to the living. To caretakers, to healers, to women who knew too much. Because when fear looks for a carrier, it eventually finds a face. And once fear has a face, history stops being merciful. Fear number 6, women, nature, and witchcraft. When fear needed a face, first, fear lived in the air, then the night, then the sky, then the body, then touch itself. Eventually, fear ran out of places to hide, so it chose people. When disaster strikes, someone must be responsible. Because chaos without cause is unbearable. And if nature won't explain itself, someone has to. Crops failed, infants died, livestock sickened. Storms came out of season, frost arrived early, drought followed rain. These weren't rare events. They were survival threats. And they demanded meaning. Fear doesn't stay abstract forever, it looks for agency. Someone who acted, someone who interfered, someone who knew too much. Nature felt intentional, so intent had to come from somewhere. The accused were rarely random, they followed patterns. Midwives, healers, widows, outsiders. Women who understood birth, women who handled death, women who knew plants, women who lived alone. They existed at the boundary between life and loss. And boundaries invite suspicion. Witchcraft wasn't just fear, it was an explanation system. It turned randomness into responsibility. If crops failed, someone caused it. If a child died, someone interfered. If illness spread, someone allowed it. Blame feels better than uncertainty. If your survival depended on understanding disaster, would you accept "we don't know"? Once fear gained a target, it needed structure. Rules were written, trials were held, confessions were forced. Evidence didn't matter, patterns did. Misfortune clustered around certain people. That was enough. No spells were cast, no pacts were made, no curses existed. Infant mortality was high, weather followed cycles, disease spread invisibly. Midwives didn't cause death, they were present when it happened. Witchcraft wasn't mass insanity, it was fear under scarcity. Psychology under pressure. When explanations fail, power shifts to accusation. And the most vulnerable pay the price. Even today we look for faces to blame during crises, during shortages, during uncertainty. Fear still prefers people over complexity. Each fear we've explored followed the same path. Pattern, logic, belief, consequence. The past wasn't cruel by default, it was afraid. And when fear becomes belief, belief becomes permission. Fear number 7. Bathing was unsafe. When cleanliness felt like exposure. First, fear lived in the air. Then the night. Then the sky. Then the body. Then touch. Then people. Eventually, fear followed us. Into the one place meant for relief. The bath. Cleanliness feels safe. Warm water, soap, a sense of renewal. That belief feels timeless. It isn't. For centuries, bathing wasn't seen as hygiene, it was seen as risk because water did something alarming. It softened the skin, it warmed the body, it opened pores, and open pores meant entry. Before microbes, the skin wasn't a barrier, it was a door, and doors were dangerous. Heat expanded the body, steam loosened flesh, sweat followed warmth. People believed disease entered through these openings. Bathing didn't cleanse, it invited invasion. People often became sick after bathing. Not immediately, but soon enough to connect the two. Public baths were crowded, water was reused, towels were shared, illness spread. The bath wasn't the cause, but it was the moment of exposure. So habits changed, baths became rare, dry cleaning replaced water, perfumes replaced washing. Cleanliness became internal, moral, spiritual. A clean soul mattered more than a clean body. If warmth made you vulnerable, would you choose comfort? Bathing removes control. You're naked, relaxed, defenseless. And fear thrives where control disappears. Avoiding baths wasn't ignorance, it was self-protection. Water didn't open the body to disease, it removed it. Soap broke down pathogens, clean water reduced transmission, regular washing saved lives. The pores weren't gates, they were misunderstood biology. This fear wasn't about dirt, it was about vulnerability. Warmth, softness, letting defenses down. Fear taught people to harden themselves. Science taught them to clean. Even now, we fear moments of openness. Rest, relaxation, letting go. Because vulnerability still feels dangerous. But if bathing felt unsafe, if touch felt dangerous, if even cleanliness invited fear, what did safety look like at all? And once safety becomes unclear, fear rewrites daily life. Fear number 8. Childbirth was a curse. When giving life meant risking death. By now, fear had moved everywhere. Into the air. Into the night. Into the body. Into touch. Into cleanliness. But nowhere did it settle more deeply than birth. Birth should be joyful. A beginning. A celebration. For most of history, it was a gamble. Before anatomy, before antiseptics, before sterile tools. Childbirth was dangerous. Mothers bled, infants failed to breathe, infections followed. And no one could explain why. Some women survived multiple births, others died the first time. The pattern felt cruel. Pain was expected, death was accepted. So meaning filled the gap. Childbirth became moralized. Pain was consequence, complication was judgment, survival felt deserved. Death felt inevitable. Women gave birth in isolation, men stayed away, doctors were absent. Help was limited. Midwives did what they could, without anatomy, without understanding infection. When mothers died, blame followed. On the woman, on the midwife, on fate. If something killed women while doing what they were meant to do, wouldn't it feel cursed? Fear didn't stop childbirth, it reframed it. Endurance became virtue, silence became strength. Suffering was normalized, risk was internalized. Women learned to expect pain and not ask why. Childbirth wasn't cursed, it was contaminated. Unwashed hands, unsterilized tools, bacteria introduced during labor. Puerperal fever killed more mothers than childbirth itself. Once hands were washed, death rates collapsed. Pain wasn't punishment, death wasn't destiny. The body wasn't failing, systems were. And once science intervened, birth changed from curse to risk, and eventually to care. Even now, birth carries fear. Stories passed down, warnings whispered, anxiety inherited. Because trauma survives long after its cause is removed. But if birth was dangerous, if death felt random, if care sometimes made things worse, what did healing even mean? And when healing is uncertain, fear teaches people to endure instead.